Hello everyone, I'm Rabbi Chaitovsky here at my office at BMH-BJ. Welcome to another video Dvar. This week, Parshat Terumah. The Israelites are still arrayed at the foot of Mount Sinai. They have heard God deliver the 10 commandments, the 10 statements, and they've also heard Moshe begin teaching what those 10 statements really mean in the Torah portion of Mishpatim. And while they are there, God decides to tell them about the building of a mishkan, of a dwelling for God. The words in the parsha are V'yasuli mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham. Build me a structure, a holy place, a mikdash, so that I may dwell among the community. According to many authorities, the purpose of this mikdash, also called mishkan in our Torah portion, seems to be the continuation of the spirit of Sinai. Just as Mount Sinai represented the nexus between God between heaven and earth, between God and the Jewish people, where God and the Jewish people meet at the top of Mount Sinai, so too the mishkan represents the meeting of the presence of God and the Jewish community. It's just very interesting that some of the descriptions assigned to the vessels and the furniture of the Mishkan are worthy of our attention. I'd like to begin today with the Aron, the Ark. We all know what the Ark is. Every synagogue has an Aron Kodesh that houses the Torah. And the original Ark, we're told, also was going to house the tablets upon which were written the 10 commandments, the Aseret HaDibrot. The Aron was made, we're told, of Atzei Shittim, which is translated most often as acacia wood. I don't know what acacia wood really is. I know that there are supposed to be about 800 different varieties of acacia wood. And the acacia wood was used throughout the building of different things in the Mishkan. The question is, where did the slaves who left Egypt, where did they get acacia wood? I mean, if you're in a desert and you see trees growing in the desert, you might be looking at a mirage. I mean, I'm not quite sure. Where did they get the wood they needed for the Mishkan? So we're told that it was their forefather Jacob, Yaakov Avinu, who, as we remember, went to Egypt, moved down to Egypt with the rest of his family to be reunited with Joseph. And something compelled Yaakov, we're told, to plant acacia wood trees in Egypt. And our traditional commentators tell us that it was through Yaakov's Ruach HaKodesh, through his Holy Spirit and his ability to foresee what the future holds in store, that he knew that the Israelites would need a certain kind of wood to build a Mishkan, to build this Mikdash to God. So he had the foresight of planting those trees in his area, Goshen, in Egypt, so that the Israelites would then fell them and take them with them when they left Egypt. That's very interesting. We understand that Yaakov had Ruach HaKodesh, and we can appreciate that he was preparing for this ultimate journey of the Israelites out of Egypt. But there's another layer to this, because we're told that Yaakov didn't just plant the trees in Egypt. We're told that he actually replanted them. What do you mean replanted? He had taken them from somewhere else. He uprooted them from somewhere else and brought them with him to Egypt. Where did he uproot them from? We're told that he uprooted trees that his grandfather, Abraham, had planted in and around Beersheba. Abraham planted numerous kinds of trees, a whole grove of trees of different kinds, and Abraham also foresaw that these kinds of trees would be used for the building of the Mishkan. And it was left up to Yaakov to realize that there was going to be this sojourn in a strange land, and he uprooted those trees and replanted them in Egypt so that the Israelites would have something to use for the building of the Mishkan after they left. This is an amazing thing. That means that the Israelites, in building the Mishkan, were using materials that connected them not only to the land of Israel, but connected them to their forefathers, Jacob and Abraham, and of course, Isaac as well. And only a people that has a strong sense of its identity could have emerged from the experiences that the Israelites had as slaves in Egypt with the strength and the fortitude to do what they did. In fact, what was Moshe's father's name? Moshe's father's name was Amram. Amram means an elevated people, an elevated nation. How would a slave nation even know to name someone Amram, an elevated nation? Only a people that has a certain sense of self looking back and a certain sense of optimism as to what the ultimate future will be looking forward would choose to name someone that Amram. So Jacob's planting or replanting those trees was a link for the Israelites looking back, a link to their past, and it was also a way for them to take the past and build for the future with it. This is exactly what living a Jewish life is all about. We do everything we can to link ourselves to our past, and we harness all of our energy and all of our heart and our soul to make the Judaism that we practice as relevant for us today and equally relevant, laying the groundwork for the future, for our children and our grandchildren. That idea of continuity, linked to the past with an eye to the future, was evidenced by the acacia wood that was used by the Israelites in the Mishkan. It came from Jacob and Abraham, but it was used for something far more glorious from that moment and into the future. Shabbat Shalom.